It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Before we get into it, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet. If you notice any differences in my audio quality today, I am coming to you from the beach right now. So if you hear some like wind or hear some general beachy noises, that's just because of my current location right now. I'm filming from the beach right now, or recording from the beach right now. Anyways, we're gonna get started here with CleanSpark. All right, let's talk about CleanSpark real quick. So the weekly here on CleanSpark is actually a little bit concerning. So the daily, we went over that recently. The daily was doing all right, but the weekly is a little bit concerning. Now, if we look at these three candles right here, that is a bear flag. I don't like that whatsoever. Don't like that weekly close at all, especially since we're just barely above that pink line there, which is at 1243. We're just barely above that. If we don't hold that on Monday, that's going to be a rough time. That could potentially see us come down to the bottom of this band here, which currently is at $8.13. I really hope that doesn't happen. I might have to look at the daily for some better areas of support on that. But right now, like 927, maybe it might come back to like 927, maybe 950, possibly just $10 in return. But that is a bear flag. We're looking at a bear flag now. Some things that are telling us that this may not be as big a deal as we are thinking, or as I am thinking currently, is MACD did print a white bar this week, so that's good. All right, it is above the 200-week moving average, which is the same as this pink bar right here. We're traveling on our way up from the bottom of the average true range bands up towards the center, which is currently at I can't tell, $17.75. RSI is pointed in the right direction. Let's take a look at the SMAs real quick and see how that is looking. Okay, so we're above the 200, we're above the 50. Great, so we got the 200 right at 1087. So if we came down, we'd probably hit the 200-day move or the 200-week moving average and find ourselves going back up. The 200-week moving average is actually a pretty fantastic place to buy. If you notice back here in December, when we got the pullback just below the 200-week moving average, we shot way over it. And anytime we're in a bullish trend and we go up to or slightly below the 200-day moving average, it tends to be a pretty explosive reversal move on it. So I'm really not too scared about this bear flag, but I am saying it's there. So it's there, it's a little bit ominous, but we do have the 50-day at 1228 and the 200-day or 200-week, sorry, the 50-week and the 200-week at one at 1228 and the other at 1087. Above us, we got the 20-week at 1578, and we got our baseline, which is the 5-week at $13.30 on CleanSpark. So it is looking like CleanSpark wants to go up a bit off of this thing. Okay, so CleanSpark's, it's got a bear flag. Okay, it does have a bear flag forming. Now this bear flag could get frustrated and send it high, flying higher. Like honestly, even over here, this was a touch of a bear flag right there that ended in an explosive move up. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that at this time. I mean, and then here, this was a bull flag that ended up in an explosive move down. So not super duper concerned about that bear flag right now, but it is there, something to be aware of. All right, let's take a look at how's Bitfarms doing. Bitfarms, actually, I don't mind Bitfarms weekly close. Weekly close on Bitfarms is actually looking okay here. We got a nice long wick on there. We're coming up on this descending trend line here, so we may get rejected there and come back down, maybe back down to like 218, 220 before crawling back up on this. On the weekly, we are getting a white bar on the MACD. We are in bull territory on the RSI. We're just battling with this mid ATR band here at $2.50, the yellow one there. And then once we're above that, we're going to have a fight with the 200-week moving average, which is sitting there at 268. And once we get above that, though, we are pretty free and clear all the way up to about $3.50. So this is actually not too bad. So we got this big explosive move up. We're curling over, forming something of a bull flag, and we get above that mid ATR band, and then we are free and clear to go up to the 200-week moving average. And once we conquer that, $3.50 is within grasp. Let's take a look at the SMAs real quick. Let's flip our indicators real quick. Okay, yeah, 200-week 260. 20 weeks at 230, 50 week is at 214. So we got a lot of 1 point of resistance and a whole lot of support right beneath us. So I don't really see Bitfarms doing too much that's too concerning. CleanSpark was in a much more precarious spot than Bitfarms is this week. Let's take a look at BitDigital. BitDigital has been on an absolute tear lately, just flying up. We had that big impulsive move here on the week of August 5th, right after that big dip, we got a bull flag from that one candle bull flag, and then we just took off, and we actually closed. Ooh, this is good. This is really good for Btbt. Okay, Btbt closed above the body of this big bearish candle here on July 29th. Closed above that body. That's really important, and we reignited momentum here on the MACD. You can see it printed a green bar. We also crossed up on the signal line on the RSI. So we're above the signal line on the RSI right now, currently at 66 on the RSI for the weekly. That's actually really good for Btbt. Now to the upside, we've got the top ATR band is at $4.39, but the fib bands, if we scroll way up, the 200-week moving average is all the way up at $7.25, okay? All the way up at $7.25. And the top of the fib bands, is all the way up at $16 on the weekly. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen like in a week or two. It would be a few months minimum, but I would not be surprised to see us peaking out at least at the 200-week moving average sometime before the end of 2024 and sometime in 2025 somewhere at or above the weekly fib bands, which are all the way up there on those clouds, the fib cloud up there. So that's what I'm looking for on Btbt. Btbt is showing so much promise. They're bringing a lot of business for the HPC side of things. They are acting ultra bullish right now. My bag is not as big as it once was for Btbt. That's not because I don't believe in Btbt. Btbt is actually one of my highest convictions. It is because I wanted to do the MSTR, the MicroStrategy wheel, and I wanted to do that for the channel, but also for me as an experiment, and it's been going really well. I will probably miss out on some gains with Btbt in terms of I may have made more money with Btbt than I will with this wheel, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I do still have 2/3 of my Btbt bag, and I will, if I see an opportunity and I have some dry powder, I will be adding to this as well a little bit more. I'll be adding back as I put more cash into my brokerage. All right, so Btbt. And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. All right, let's take a look at Mara. How is Mara going today? This week, Mara is looking a lot like Btbt. Okay, we got above the 200-week moving average there, which was at 1848. We closed out the week at 1869. We got a white bar on the MACD. That looks great. We are coming up right on the signal line for the RSI. We cross over that. We get over that into the 51 on the RSI. Mara is going to be looking pretty fantastic. We also came to the bottom of this big ascending channel that I've got here on Mara. We came to the bottom of it and bounced out of it, which has room all the way up to the top of this thing, which is above the ATR bands, which is up around $30. So I'm not saying it's going to fly right up there, but Mara is having an explosive move out of this little space here. Once we clear this bar here from July 29th, just like Btbt already has done, but once we get above 2258, I think we're going to find ourselves in the 30s very, very quickly on Mara. So this is a good move. I like that it's holding the support down here. It came down, faked us out a little bit, and then just, I mean, we've touched the bottom of this thing once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times now. This is the 5th time we touched the bottom. We've only touched the top twice. So we're due to touch the top of this thing again, which is all the way up at $30. So watch that for Mara. I do have some calls on Mara. I am watching Mara to go all the way up to about $30 in this next quarter, like maybe not Q3, but end of Q3, beginning of Q4. I'm expecting to see some big things out of Mara. We may see some weakness going into September potentially, but I do see that shaking out sometime in October, as usually does. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's check out Iren. I've been really liking my Iren holdings so far. It's been really good. Now, Iren, this is also an issue. Okay, Iren. Minor issue here. We may see some downside. This, again, just like Clsk, that is a bear flag on Iren. That's, what is it, the 3 crows or something? Can't remember what it's called. It's when you get 3 green bars followed by a big red one that comes all the way back to the bottom, which in this case would be 623. So be aware of that. Just like on Clsk, we could find ourselves coming off of this 3-week green spike, this bear flag, and we could see it come all the way back down to about $6.26. If it comes back down to $6.26, I am loading the boat on this thing. I'll be taking some of my savings and putting it into Iren, you better believe it, in that case. And I'll be watching for it to come all the way back up to maybe around like $13, $14 and offload whatever I bought at $6 and then hold on to my longer term bag for Iren in that case. But that is a bear flag. Now, if it gets above 986, which is the mid ATR band, if we can get above 986, that frustrates the bear flag and this becomes bullish. Okay, that's all that's going on here. But I'm looking at, so okay, here's a perfect example on the Iren chart. Perfect example of what I'm scared of right now. These 3 candles right here, ending with a big red one right there. That is what I'm looking for. That's what's concerning me. Now, if you are willing to hold it for 2 months, look, it was back at that position and higher. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later, it was twice the price it was at the highest point of that bear flag. So if you're concerned about that, yeah, just remember holding on will eventually lead to it going up because we're still in the bull run, right? So I'm not too concerned about that, but I am thinking 626 is possible. We could see it come back to 626 on Iren before going higher. So have that in mind. Maybe if you've got quite a lot of gains already, maybe think about locking some of those in and picking back up around 6 if you start seeing it come down. But it could happen in a week. So if we get any movement below $8.03 on Monday, we're coming down bigger on Iren, and that's a bit of a concern here. That's all I'm concerned about. All right, so that's it. That's what the weekly is telling me. I do like some things about Iren, right? I do like that it broke this downward trend. That's good. If it holds above $8, we're going higher. If it goes below $8, we're coming lower. That's all I'm saying about Iren right there. Let's take a look at Corz. How's Corz doing today? Corz is actually looking fantastic. I mean, it's got that same a bit of a similar 3-candle pattern, but the difference is we had a huge impulse followed by 2 smaller impulses, right? Pulses. And we are closing above the bear candles from before. All right, so we get just a tad bit higher. Like we go up to $11, and this thing is in bullish territory again. And it just seems like it cannot be stopped. We got these nice long wicks on the bottom, bodies on top, all green. Corz looks pretty good here. I do like this a lot. Let's take a look at the SMAs and see how those are looking on Corz as well on the weekly. We finally have some. We have the 20. The 20, it's all the way down here at 732, so we could see that kind of a fall there. I'm not really expecting it though. I wouldn't expect Corz to get any lower than 993. If we do go below 993 though, we have opened up to 733, okay? Below 933, we might get caught at 831 again, but if we don't, we're coming down to 733, which would be also the bottom of this descending channel that we've got here that we are trying to break out. If we haven't fully broken out of it yet, this weekly candle just ever so slightly touches the top part of this descending channel, so we haven't broken it yet. We have to open next week. A minimum next week, we have to open and close the whole week, has to open and close above $9. Otherwise, we are back in this descending channel on Corz, but right now it does look good. Okay, what other ones are we looking at? Riot. Let's take a look at Riot. How is Riot doing? Not good. Same bear flag. Same bear flag as CleanSpark, same bear flag as Iren. Difference is that this one is coming in at the bottom of the move, so I'm a little less scared of it down here at the bottom of the move, like the bottom, like this is the lowest. This is the lowest Riot has been since March 2023, so over a year. Riot's not doing so hot. Riot really needs to get some stuff together here. Now, if Riot needs to get back above 973 to get anywhere bullish. Above 973, they have resistance again at 1123, okay? It's got to get above those 2 levels. Once it gets above those 2 levels, it's open all the way to 1653. But honestly, I'm not interested in Iren. Riot. This is Riot, not Iren. I'm not interested in Riot below 1123 right now because it has just been disappointment after disappointment coming out of Riot. So I'm not putting any capital towards it till it is above the 50-day moving average, or at least knocking on the door of the 50-day moving average. Once it gets that, then I'll start thinking about it again. Until then, I'm just watching it, fluctuate between 12 and $7, which is too big of a range for me to deal with right now on this one. I'm not too interested in it, but it did print a white bar on the MACD, so that's good. The RSI is curling up, and it looks like it is poised to overtake the signal line. That is also pretty good. There are some good things on this chart. I don't like that bear flag, but it could be frustrated. If Riot is able, and it's got a much longer road than CleanSpark or Iren, honestly, but if it gets above 973, then I would say that bear flag is like, it's done for. It's not happening. So that's what we're doing with Riot. It's just being disappointing. Riot's honestly just kind of a disappointment for the most part, in my opinion. Let's take a look at WULF. How is WULF doing? WULF looks great. WULF looks amazing. All right, so WULF. All right. Honestly, WULF looks great. This is good. The MACD came down, hit the signal line, and bounced. RSI is still not overbought yet, but it is getting close. But that's fine. We've seen WULF do this before. I would not be surprised on the SMAs. I mean, we could come down to $4.17 from $4.93 right now and still be super bullish. I mean, we could come all the way to $3.52, and this is still a very bullish move. The reason I don't think this looks like a bear flag is because of that huge impulsive candle right here. We have a big impulsive candle followed by a slight pause followed by another impulsive candle. That insinuates institutional buying. Institutions are on the buy side of this particular one. So I'm not too concerned about that. It looks a lot like back here in May or June, early June, when we had a big impulse, another big impulse followed by a bit of a pause, and then two more big impulses. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if next week we saw another big impulse taking us over 570, or if we got a pause, I would consider that a bull flag, and then something that's going to take us higher back up to like $6 or so. We might even see it hit the 200-week moving average at $7.16 right now. WULF looks really, really good. Yeah, the top ATR band there is at 561. The mid ATR band is at 395. Again, as long as we're staying above the 20-week moving average, the mid ATR band, WULF is bullish, and I don't see anything really stopping it right now. Now, of course, if price goes below that mid ATR band, below 395, I'd start looking at 279 for potential support. And if that fails, if that were to fail, I'm not saying it's going to, because it took pretty much a catastrophe, an economic catastrophe, to get it that low in the first place. We would need another one to cause it to get that low again. But if it gets below that, then of course we're opening up to like $1 or so, like 150 or something on WULF. But I don't see that happening right now. This does look bullish. It looks like institutions might be on board, or at least a few big investors are on board with WULF right now, and that is looking really good. Okay, let's take a look at CIFR. I've been requested to check on CIFR. CIFR, that looks bad. This, again, bear flag. This one's even uglier than the other two because it actually has a red bar in there. And it looks like the MACD is accelerating. The market did not like the news that CIFR was looking to sell itself. Now, I haven't confirmed it, but I have heard that CIFR has stopped considering selling itself. I haven't confirmed that yet. But even with that being the case, even if it were the case, the market got used to the idea that they didn't think they were profitable enough to run themselves anymore, and they looked to selling themselves. So that was a kind of a huge hit in investor confidence. And you can see in just a couple of weeks, this thing just is dropping. It got beneath this ascending trend line here. It has to get above this ascending trend line again, this white one that I've got there on the chart, in order to even have a chance at looking bullish again. It's got to get above that. It's got to get, and then from there, it has to get above 494. Otherwise, we are still looking bearish. This thing could come all the way down to the bottom of the support here, which in this case is going to be all the way down at about $2.24. And if you lose that, 189 could come in on CIFR, but this does not look good. I don't like this. Price needs to get above this white ascending trend line here, which means price has got to get above $4.60. Otherwise, this is still looking very, very bearish. All right, let's take a look at HUT. How's HUT doing? HUT is similar sort of deal. Slightly better than CIFR, but not by a whole lot. So we got a cross down on the MACD. We got a red bar. It's small, but it's there. This, again, bear flag. We got a couple of bear flags in here. This is a little concerning. I don't love this. Now, this one is hanging out right at the yellow mid ATR band, and that is, I might need to be quiet. That was probably pretty loud. Down at the beach, everybody. So it hit the mid ATR band and rejected. It looks like it's done that twice now. That's a little concerning. If it does that a third time this week, like if it cannot get above $12.99 this week, I would be looking at HUT to come at least down to about $11.36, maybe even as low as about $10 on HUT. If it gets above $12.99, I'd be looking at it to go in the week, maybe up to $15 or so, like, $3 move over the course of a week if it is to get above that $12.99. But if not, if it can't do that, if you see like Monday or Tuesday, it struggles and cannot conquer $12.99, we are looking at coming back towards $10 on HUT. Let's take a look at, Bitcoin. Bitcoin had some interesting things in it. That is not what I wanted. BTC. Okay, hold on. I'll do this right once. There we go. BTC USD. All right, check it out. So I love this big wick on the bottom here from August 5th. All right, that's great. Another nice wick on the bottom of Bitcoin on August 12th. This week right here, the fact that we are crawling more than halfway up this candle right here, that is beautiful. Let me just confirm and make sure that that is in fact the case, that we are going halfway up the body of that candle. Let's kind of dial that in. Yeah, we're above halfway up the body of that candle. That is really good. This is looking bullish for Bitcoin. The only thing in our way for Bitcoin is $67,127. That is the mid ATR band. Once we get above that band, we have a chance at making this whole formation here look like a double bottom. If that ends up being a double bottom, that opens us up to coming all the way up to the top of the ATR band here, which is at $79,000 and a brand new all-time high for Bitcoin. Again, also, this is looking a bit like an inverted head and shoulders here, which could, again, end around that $80,000 mark. I think it will probably struggle there because a lot of people are, it's a big psychological level. It will struggle there. Let's be real. But it is looking good. We are bullish on the RSI. We are printing a white bar on the MACD. It is curling up. We get another impulsive week next week, moving up on Bitcoin. We're going to have a very good time on this ticker and in all of our Bitcoin related stuff. Let's take a look at coin. I haven't looked at coin in a little while. This is a weekly on coin. That's a bear flag. Not as bad though. It's not bad. It's similar to which one was it? Can't remember which one it was right now. But where it had one big impulsive move, a pause, and then two little candles, looking for another impulsive move, maybe up to about $240 next week, which would be the mid ATR band. Now, if we lose on coin, if we lose $204.11. It goes below $204.11. Sorry for all the noise. Then we are coming back down to the bottom of these candles here at about 186. We lose 186. We're looking at getting caught around like 155 or so on Coinbase. But of course, if Bitcoin takes off, we're going up to 240 and higher. Okay, if Bitcoin takes off, that's what we're doing. But we are looking at something of a potential, like it's hinting at a bear flag on the weekly. But we are getting a white bar on the MACD. The RSI is curling up in the right direction. Let's take a look at the daily. See how the daily looks on this thing. Daily is looking good. This is why I'm not too concerned about that bear flag, right? Because the daily is looking great. We have the 200-day moving average at $190.33. We're sitting right at the mid ATR band. So this Monday or Tuesday, we need to hold above $210.97. We need to hold above that. And then this bear flag right here, which is there, that becomes frustrated. Once that is frustrated, we are open all the way up in a very short period of time. We're open up to 240 very easily, even on the daily chart. So that's what we're looking at for coin. Coin is actually looking pretty nice right now. And with that said, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you found it informative or entertaining. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.